You have died. Again. You open your eyes to the same cracked ceiling, the same dusty bookshelf, the same strip of morning light cutting through the curtain at the exact same angle it always does. The same splinter in the bed frame catches against your sleeve when you sit up. The same bird outside the window chirps 3 times, pauses, then chirps once more like it has been given a script and punished for improvising. The same floorboard creaks when you put your left foot down first. And you already know what is going to happen today. Every step, every word, every mistake. Because you have lived this day before. 17 times. And every time, it ends the same way. Not always with the same wound, not always in the same place, once in the corridor, once in the courtyard, once with a blade meant for someone else, and once with poison in a cup you were never supposed to touch. But always the same result. You die. And the story moves on exactly the way it was always meant to. This is the world of Eternal Throne, a web novel you read in a single weekend 3 years ago. You remember that weekend with humiliating clarity. Cheap noodles, no sleep, phone at 2%, one more chapter turning into 10. The kind of story that traps you not because it is perfect, but because it is relentless. Cliffhangers, betrayals, training arcs, noble houses, academy politics, ancient bloodlines, a throne promised in the title and delayed for hundreds of chapters. You are not the hero, you were never meant to be. Your name appears in exactly 4 chapters. You are the childhood friend, the one who smiles in the background, brings food during training, exists just long enough to matter to someone else's story. The one who says things like, "Be careful," and "I know you can do it," and "I'll wait here." The one your readers barely remember until they reread the early chapters and realize with mild surprise that yes, there was someone there before the story decided who was important. And then you die in chapter 11. Every single timeline. You have tried everything. You warned him, you avoided him. You ran from the city before the plot could catch up. You stayed in bed all day. You picked a fight. You apologized for things you hadn't done yet. You wrote letters. You burnt letters. You missed trains on purpose. You took roads the story never described. But it always does. Because that is what stories do to side characters. They pull them back into place. The plot is gravity, and you are not strong enough to escape it. At least, that's what you believed. Because when you are inside a story, the most dangerous thing is not the villain. It is structure. It is inevitability. It is the quiet certainty that every room has already been arranged before you walk into it. And you were furniture. Useful for mood, easy to remove. Timeline 18 begins exactly the same. Same room, same light, same inevitability. But this time something is different. You are not panicking, because somewhere between your 14th death and your 17th, you started noticing things. Things the hero never had time to see. Not because he is stupid, the hero is many things, but never that. He is brave and talented and exhausting in the way all protagonists are exhausting. The world bends for him because that is what the story is built to do. Every mystery arrives in front of him eventually. Every useful mentor finds him. Every enemy waits until he is emotionally prepared. But while he's busy being chosen by fate, he misses the rest of the world. The blacksmith in chapter 3 mentions her daughter sick. One line, never mentioned again. 17 timelines and you never questioned it. Because the first time you read the novel, you were reading like the author trained you to read. Fast, selective, hungry for plot. You skimmed the blacksmith because she was not important. You skimmed the market because it was only scenery. You skimmed all the lives that existed behind the hero because the story itself had already decided what mattered. But now you remember chapter 9. A healer appears out of nowhere, saves lives, and disappears just as quickly. No introduction, no backstory, just a miracle in practical shoes. The story never explains why. But now you ask a different question. What if that healer didn't come from nowhere? What if she just needed someone to notice earlier? What if the world was always full of causes the plot never cared to name? You get up, not to find the hero, not to warn him again, not to try to escape a story that refuses to change. You wash your face in cold water. You dress, you step into the street while the city is still rubbing sleep from its eyes. The bakery is lighting its ovens. The laundress's laundry bells have not rung yet. A cartwheel squeals somewhere beyond the square. You walk to the market. You stop at a door you have ignored 17 times. And you knock. The merchant outside the city walls wasn't important. The story made that clear. A footnote, a passing mention, someone who trades in strange things no one else values. In the original novel, he exists for one paragraph. He sells a hero a map case with a hidden compartment. The compartment matters for exactly 2 chapters. The merchant does not appear again. That should have been the end of him. But you stand there anyway. Because this time you are not looking for importance. You're looking for cracks. The plot only follows the hero, which means everything else is unwritten. And unwritten means unbound. The realization arrives slowly, then all at once. The world does not end where the narration ends. The city continues breathing even when the chapter moves on. The people left behind in transitions don't freeze in place waiting for the protagonist to return. They keep wanting things, fearing things, missing meals, making promises, regretting choices. You start paying attention. You listen when people speak instead of waiting for the story to move. You ask questions no one asked in the original timeline. You sit with characters who were never meant to matter. You ask the baker what time he wakes up. You ask the laundress why she hates the academy students. You ask the stable boy who taught him to count. You ask the merchant outside the walls why he buys broken lockets and cracked lenses and letters written in dead dialects. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. But every answer changes the shape of the world a little bit, and slowly, something shifts. Not the story, you. Because the first thing to break is not the plot, it is your obedience to it. You were never trapped in the story. You were trapped in your understanding of it. You thought survival meant avoiding your death, but survival means changing what leads to it, not the ending all at once, not with some dramatic rebellion that forces the heavens to rewrite themselves. Just a chain, one link at a time. You do not need to become the hero. You do not need the author's attention. You just need to become the kind of person who sees what the story keeps stepping over. And once you understand that, you realize something even stranger. The side characters were never empty. You were the one reading them that way. Chapter 11 arrives like it always does. The ambush, the corridor, the assassins, the hero arriving seconds too late. You know the scene better than anyone alive. But this time, you were not there. 3 days earlier, you sat with the blacksmith's daughter. You learned her name. You listened. You told her there was someone at the academy who was going to need help on a very specific morning. You didn't explain how you knew. You just made sure she would be there. Now you stand 2 corridors away, hearing steel clash, footsteps echo, the story trying to correct itself. And then something new happens. Footsteps from the wrong direction. The healer arrives, not because the plot summoned her, not because the author wrote it, but because you changed something small enough to go unnoticed and important enough to matter. The hero survives, not because you became the hero, but because you rewrote the margins. The corridor doesn't reset immediately. That's new. The hero is still breathing. The assassins are gone. And for a moment, the world doesn't know what to do next. You watch from a distance, waiting, listening, expecting the story to snap back into place. But it doesn't. It adapts. Regression 19. You wake up again. Same ceiling, same light. Regression 19. But this time, something lingers. A shift you can't ignore. For the first time, the story didn't reset perfectly. The bookshelf is slightly different. A book you don't remember reading is out of place. The air feels adapted, like the world noticed you noticing it. You sit up slowly, and something settles in your chest. Quiet, sharp, unmistakable. The timelines aren't just repeating anymore. They're responding. Which means this isn't just survival anymore. This is influence.